Well, hello there, my friends. My name is Saucy, and I welcome you to my new beginning. Well, the most recent new beginning, rather. You see, I'm a big enjoyer of the hardcore game mode, and with that, you tend to remake a lot, believe it or not. Not so long ago, I died on my long-time hardcore Saucy J, and after taking a nice long break of one day, I was ready to start up my new hardcore adventure, but this time I would be focusing on rushing early PVMing content. I did have a nice backup account with some early grinds done in advance, so it wasn't all that bad. I ended up getting the Mage Arena 2K, rushing Song of the Owls, and even starting the CG grind pretty fast. But there was an issue. You see, switching from the max account you have played for years, doing content, bossing, clogging, you switch from that to practically an alt account, you tend to get complacent as hell. So, when you get complacent, you don't have that mindset that keeps you alive as a hardcore. Having your own rules and boundaries, what to do, what not to do, especially when you're doing dangerous content, paying attention, etc. It's just not there. And that is exactly how you end up in a situation like I did, where you are boxing the bear, watching YouTube on full volume, and all of a sudden you hear the sweet, sweet C engineer line. Dying on my hardcore Iron Man completed. So while it was extremely tilting to throw away weeks of progress just because I'm a moron with the attention span of a goldfish, it did give me the opportunity to do something that I always wanted to do. And that is making a progress series for YouTube. Now, I don't necessarily care about the growing your channel aspect of YouTube, I don't care about fame or anything like that, but I do like the idea of sharing content for like-minded people that share my passion for the hardcore game mode. Hell, I could even make a guide or two for hardcores when it comes to bossing, when I start doing CG, I can explain what to do, what not to do, and how to keep yourself alive there. So, with this in mind, I didn't actually mind remaking that much. I know, you might think this sounds like some gargantuan level of coping. You're not wrong. But it did give me the much needed motivation to get back to the game after the last blunder. But yeah. So I have been yapping here for a couple minutes already, and you have noticed the clips playing in the background. Now, one thing I decided pretty early on was that I was not gonna make you watch the same boring ass early game content you have already seen countless times. I mean, do you honestly want to see me do the Fight Arena quest, Waterfall quest, Grand Prix quest? Or are you surprised about the fact that I will be rushing a Bone Crossbow early on? Would you actually believe me if I were to tell you that I focus on getting protection prayers ASAP? No way. I'm sure you get my point. So, instead, we will be pretty much speedrunning the early game content here, and I will do my best to show everything I did, but naturally I'm gonna, avoid putting in clips like checking my willow tree or stuff like that. Who cares, man? Okay, so, what exactly are my goals for this account, or even this series as a whole? What will be my main objective? Do I have something that I will be pushing towards first? Well, I do have several goals, both early and in the end game, and well, let's start with the early game goals. My early game goals will be the following: getting Mage Arena 2K, rushing Song of the Elves and getting a BOFA, getting the dangerous quests out of the way ASAP. All of the previously mentioned goals have the same reasoning behind them. You want to get these out of the way as soon as possible to minimize the risk of losing your hardcore status, and with that making this series pointless. There are no specific quests that I can do really, but some quests have a higher risk of death, especially if you space out or suffer a DC such as Song of the Elves, Sins of the Father, Dragon Slayer 2, While Gothic Sleeps, and last not but least DT2. My endgame goals consist of collection logging and PVMing, pretty much for both drops and ranks. I'm a simple man, I see my number go up and I feel good about it. And both collection logging and boss ranks motivate me to grind the more tedious bosses and content much more easily. I will be doing whatever content I feel like doing. I have no specific order I will be pushing to complete bosses in. I have no interest in playing efficiently boss-wise, The only thing I will be doing first and rushing to is CG, obviously, because I want the BOFA. BOFA kinda unlocks a lot of content for me early on, especially. So naturally I will be pushing for that. But aside from that, I have no clue what I will be doing first or second or anything. For example, I could all of a sudden get the urge to grind Toa. In that case I will grind Toa. Feeling like slapping some Duke cheeks? Then Duke it is. I will do whatever I feel like doing. It's as simple as that really. I don't give a rat's ass about efficient bossing routes or anything like that. I actually prefer to enjoy the game. So this account started pretty much just like any other I had ever made. Doing different quests here and there, trying to unlock teleport methods to get around more easily. But this time I wanted to try and rush a rogue set and to try out pickpocketing the wealthy citizens for early gold. Not only was it a good GP, but it was also really good XP for thieving, because I really despise leveling thieving, especially on early game. So yeah, I like it. It was around this time that I started to work towards my magic level requirements for the Mage Arena 2, and well, I pickpocketed the wealthy citizens so I could finally buy some runes, and while at it, I decided to get the mud rune for the Eyes of Globe request as well, just to kickstart my RC grinding. I totally forgot about the maple logs and I needed to get a couple of levels, but it didn't take that long, so... That is the Temple of the Aidan, and that unlocks us rune crafting. I don't think that I have ever taken this long to complete the RDK, but better late than never, I guess. I really love this quest. You know, getting 34 farming so you can do tithe farm for early levels. It's really painful because there's no options, but with this you can skip right through it. You know, you spend months rocking bandos, rancours, Soul Reaper axes, Infernal Cape. It's like you have all that good stuff, and then you go back to whatever this is. My god, this is gonna take some time to get used to. Oh man, hey vittu. Not only do you need this for the RFD questline, you can also skip leveling range from 1 to 28, and you can use the Turkish crossbow. Nice. There is actually no way you can burn this. No. So I decided to tag along with a couple of my clanmates and leech some Chambers of Zervik combat achievements, so I would like to thank Mr. Wild Whip here and Mr. Klonkscape. Or Klonkscape. Gloenkscape. And surprisingly enough, I actually got rewarded for that raid. I managed to get a Dark Relic, which obviously I will be putting to Herblore, which is it's a nice XP drop for this level. So it was around this time that the newest Escape from Tarkov wipe was closing in, and I had decided to all in on it with my brother. So this kind of means that for the next couple of months, all I really did was just AFK content like grabs, crown wands, prayer rocks, etc, etc. So content-wise it was the dark ages of my non-existing series. But it was also the perfect chance to AFK a lot of the more tedious but needed grinds out of the way. Stuff like getting high combat levels for CG, bagging 70 plus prayer from prayer rocks, getting enough food to last for a lifetime. It's the stuff you really don't want to pay attention to. But yeah, I feel like this is a good place to finish up my episode 1. It took me a really long time to get this stuff done, not only because I'm an absolute newbie when it comes to content creation, but also playing Escape from Tarkov didn't allow me to pay as much attention to OSRS as I would have liked. The next episode will probably have a lot of skipping as well, as I'm trying to get rid of the mountains of clips that I have managed to gather over the span of 2 months while AFKing. After that, as I catch up to my progress, the clips will be a lot more focused though. But with that, I hope you enjoyed my first ever progress video. I have no plans currently on how often I plan to release videos because I'm still trying to figure stuff out, but I would imagine that this time it won't take 3 months, that much I can promise you. But yeah, thank you for watching my video, take care.